welcome back to our Express Swirl and Sip special. Wait, I missed one, didn't I? The sniff? Well, that's because I'm going to leave it for our next guest who makes a living off that very important organ, the nose. In fact, he recently insured it for $1 million.
In the world of wine, the nose knows.
It's basically what I use to do my job.
So important is this one appendage for James Clure that he insured it for $1 million.
It's just part of prudent business to be insured. At the end of the day, I guess if you lost that, we looked at our clients and I thought, well, if I couldn't do that, would I still work for them? And the answer was no.
And why did you go for that?
A consultant and educator, he's one of only 3 in Canada and less than 300 in the world with a master's degree in wine.
It was long and it was stressful and for me a big challenge, and it took about 11 years to complete. You pass in 3 stages. There's 3 parts. There's a tasting exam, a written exam, and then a thesis.
1998.
Now, as a consultant, part of his job is basically telling vineyards whether or not their wine is worth its price.
There's a nice color, and then you give it a swirl, and then you have to concentrate.
With such acute powers of discernment, a simple sniff can reveal a lot.
If you smelt a wine that was very green fruit, like green apple or citrus, it would probably tell you that it comes from a cooler climate compared to a Chardonnay that smells more tropical, like pineapple or peaches, which typically comes from warmer climates. My family were into wine, my mum and dad, and I used to have to open the bottles for them when I was about 12. I moved to France and I went to Bordeaux and started working in wineries, in the vineyards and in the cellars, doing everything and anything, basically.
And then for the next decade, he sold wine across the globe.
It's the fun. It's the fun people that you meet. It's the pleasure of tasting amazing wines, going to some incredible places. You know, vineyard areas are typically very pretty, very beautiful.
And although it may be an intense area of study, a drink of sophistication and class, wine is something everyone can enjoy.
Even when they're chugging it, so to speak, they're still noticing whether they like it or not. And it starts there.
In Vancouver, I'm Peter Kim for The Express.
When James took the test back in 2002, he was one of only 4 students out of 94 to pass the final exam and earn his Masters of Wine. Amazing and something worth celebrating. So let's break out the bubbly and take the art of sipping champagne to a whole new level.
Ordinarily, there's nothing more civilized than opening a bottle of bubbly. It usually symbolizes a moment of celebration.
Cheers.
But the art of Sabrage is a whole different kind of celebration. Wine buff Tyler Dawson is familiar with all things Sabrage and says it all started over 200 years ago by a little man with a big idea.
The history of Sabrage is from Napoleonic times, and so the French cavalry, they were in celebration and sometimes in defeat, would be taking the champagne and the champagne of the region, they would savor or cut the tops off.
Welcome to Sabrage.
These first-timers come here for various reasons. For Rob Perron, it's to celebrate victory. He's getting married this summer and wanted to toast his bride Nicola in a grand way.
Obviously, having champagne at the wedding is, you know, a highlight for most people. It certainly is for us. And we thought, you know, why not add some pageantry to it and make it a bit more of a ceremony.
For others, it's a way to show off their skills.
I've been bartending for maybe 4 or 5 years now, so who doesn't really want to step up the action behind the bar or be the ultimate party hostess?
I think Sabrage is the coolest party trick ever. I'm a little nervous that you know, it might take me a few tries, but I'm going to go in with full confidence and say I'm going to get it first shot.
Tyler explains the basic rules. Rule number 1, safety first.
Always, of course, making sure that the bottle is always pointed away from both you and any of your guests.
It's not a big slash.
You want to first make sure your bottles are very chilled. You remove the foil from the bottle, You leave the cage on until just before you are ready to saber.
The bottle seam is the weakest point. Hit it in the right spot and you will have a successful sabrage.
The sabrage, or the sabering, is, we like to say, 90% courage and 10% technique.
I just took what Tyler had told us to do and pushed right through it and punched it off.
Once you actually see the end of the bottle go flying, it's pretty badass. Yeah.
I'm hoping to go buy a reasonably priced bottle of champagne and do it for my friends this weekend.
Once you've mastered the technique, you can use pretty much anything to get the top off. But for amateurs, a saber should do just fine for now. I'm Melanie Pineda in Vancouver for The Express.
The record for the most number of champagne bottles sabered simultaneously is 30 in 10 seconds. And it happened at last year's Vancouver International Playhouse Wine Festival. Any idea who won this event last year, the Flavors of the City competition? It was Joe Fortes. We're going to find out if they're holding on to the gold this year after the break. After the break, find out what dish makes a Gewürztraminer come alive.
The experience of cooking yourself, but having the chef right there.
Find out how you can have the luxury of dining out, dining in. The Express. This is your local voice.
We will not do as we are told. We will not dump our friends just because someone says they're not cool.
We will not be shy when we have something to say.
We will not let boys have all the sports.
We will not be afraid to take on challenges.
We will not go on diets just to look a certain way.
We will not be ashamed of who we are.
We are girls. We will do what's right for us.
Welcome back to The Express at the Playhouse International Wine Festival's Flavors of the City competition. We have swirled and sipped, we have tried and tasted, and now it's time to find out who won. And the winner is Goldfish Pacific Kitchen. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
How do you feel right now?
Nerve-wracking, shocked, but very happy. So today we did soy and thyme marinated salmon with jasmine tea smoked scallops with a coconut jus and a black bean and snow pear tapenade.
That sounds absolutely delicious. Why do you think you won, and why does it pair well with the Gewürz?
I think we won because it's obviously a local fish, and you know there's all these great restaurants here, but we sort of kept it a little simple.
Congratulations, and what are you going to do to celebrate?
Taking all my boys out. Celebrate.
Fetzer, great beginnings, the Flavors of the City competition, one of the many delicious and tasty events at the Playhouse Wine Festival. Remember, they often sell out, so you want to book early for 2011. Personally, I love eating out, but imagine if you can get a professional meal paired with wine brought to your own home. Well, it turns out you can if the chef comes to you.
He's a skilled technician unpacking the tools of his trade, and for Chef Jeffrey Ailey, haute cuisine is what he does best.
ChefEnSite is an experience where you're bringing a restaurant, chef into your home and experiencing that restaurant experience in the comforts of your own home.
The meal begins with a glance at the custom-designed menu.
We're having a pan-seared black and white crusted albacore tuna, and it's served with a star anise mirin glaze, grilled asparagus, and baked nori.
Wow, sounds good. Very nice. I really like the idea of having a chef in my house cooking, and you know, it's nice to know that you can actually enjoy the time with your guests.
That's amazing. I didn't think you could eat this well at home.
Bon appetit.
Thank you. How is it?
Delicious.
Chef Jeffrey pairs BC wine with both the appetizer and main dish. To go with the sesame-crusted tuna, it was Gewürztraminer.
Nice. Okanagan Valley, very local.
Definitely. With the duck, we'll be having this Stag's Hollow.
For the main course of Chilliwack duck breast with risotto croquettes, Erica was invited to lend a hand.
Right now it's a risotto cake. What makes it a croquette is the battering and frying. You're doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. You're a pro. And when you put them down, you want to sort of go...
Push them?
Yeah, or
a little
kind
bit?
of to the front, to the back. There you go.
Very nice. It was nice to try it out yourself and then have the experience of cooking yourself, but having the chef right there to make sure it's all right.
Oh, that looks good. So what's in there, Jeffrey? White wine.
White wine, shallots, mustard.
It's delicious, absolutely fabulous. And I love the parmesan in the croquette.
What I like best about what I do is the intimacy that I have with my clients. I really like to interact with them and experience the joy that they experience.
And I experienced a lot of joy making my first creme brulee, complete with flaming torch.
This is great.
Yeah, it's looking good. You're a pro already. And you can stop whenever it's to your liking, really.
Okay.
Because that's the one you're going to eat.
Oh, nice. Gorgeous.
And although it's sugar, cream, and eggs, it tastes light.
It's relaxing, and it's not much more expensive at all than at a restaurant, just because you could bring your own wine, or he can suggest wines or bring wine, but you have the comfort of your own house. And the food was absolutely delicious. It was so beautiful. I loved every bite of it.
In Surrey, I'm Kendall Harris for The Express.
Chef Jeffrey doesn't just do intimate meals, he can also cater large groups, parties, and do holiday meals. The website is ChefEnSite.ca. Okay, so your glass is full. What about your social calendar? It's time for the Express Spotlight. Are you ready for summer barbecue season? Know what wines go best with that charbroiled taste? Find out with some yummy recipes from Taylorwood Wine's in-house chef, Jamie Quincy. Spend an evening with a local wine expert tasting and exploring rare and exclusive wines of the Naramata Bench, Golden Mile, and Black Sage Bench. Top-rated Okanagan wineries will be sampled, discussed, and matched with gourmet artisan cheeses. Yum! Your ticket to this fundraiser for Big Sisters of BC will include appetizers and, of course, only the best in grape juice. Your devotion to wine can only be matched by your love of contributing to the local community. Now that's it for today's Express Sip and Swirl special. I'm Johanna Warden on behalf of all of us on the show. Chin Chin. Now, since the regional theme for this year's Playhouse International Wine Festival is Argentina, we decided to leave you with a little bit of flamenco.